right. Hello, everyone. I am back. How's it going? Today was kind of a hectic day because I had the YouTube. Sorry, I'm going to move my mic here real quick. Yeah, today was kind of a big day for the Hungry Creature production side of thing. If you're not subscribed to my more professional YouTube channel, Hungry Creature Productions, totally check that out. But we released a video today on what it's like to work in VFX and animation during the coronavirus pandemic, just based on my experience, my wife's experience with that. So yeah, if you're interested in VFX and animation, particularly on a professional feature film level, then you should check out that channel and check out that video. Excuse me. So I have completed all the pages of the storyboards, at least for, this current iteration of the project, this first version. I have to get a glass of water. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of assemble a first video edit of this thing, which will essentially just be saving out these frames, loading them up into Premiere, and making just kind of a quick animatic. But before I do that, I want to save these pages out individually. Right now it's all one PSD file. So let's see. So we're in boards. We'll just call this board pages version 1. Okay. This is MD for Monster Dad. Story page _01. Okay. So we've got page 1. Page 2. A lot of making anything really just kind of comes down to figuring out a process that works for you and then doing the same thing over and over and over and over again. But yeah. Had kind of a fun weekend. Went to the botanical gardens around here to celebrate my wife's birthday. It was neat. On a more spooky note, we got some smoke up here in Vancouver from, I think, the fires happening in either Washington or California. I know there are multiple places on fire right now. I'm not sure which ones we got the smoke from. But yeah, the afternoon just got really hazy, really kind of gross smelling and weird. Hope that isn't as bad as, was it last year or a couple years ago when they were really, really bad? Well, regardless, hope it doesn't get that bad. Okie dokie dokie. I'll go ahead and just close this. Yeah. And close that, and I'll open up the pages individually. JPEGs, there we go. Just so I can keep my head on straight organizationally. Yeah, so the next step in this process will be making a video animatic. And why that's important is, at least for me, it's easier to see what needs fixing, what needs adjusting at this early stage when it's kind of in motion and you can get a sense of the pace. When it's all laid out on paper like this, it's still a little bit, what's the word? Non-opaque. Still a little bit hard to figure out. Okay, so I should probably start splitting these up into shots. So we'll go into production. So I've got my pre-production folder, my streaming folder. So I'll make a, yeah. I don't know what that was. I messed something up. No, we're good. Okay. When you press all the keys at once, bad things happen. make a production folder, and in that folder a shots folder and an edit folder. Okay, in shots, so this will be BFR1. Okay. And let's see, I guess we'll have, in each folder we'll have the current board. So in each shot folder we'll have a current board folder. Okay. So this is MD board BFR1. Okay. Bless you. So yeah, we start off looking over the cubicles. Everyone's gone home except there's one that's illuminated. We have our protagonist, the adult version of her. In the next shot, she's still at her desk. For those of us in animation, I'm sure that situation is entirely relatable. And what do I call it? Current board. I did. She is working away. BFR 2. Okay. We see her desk setup. We kind of push in on that, and then the edges of the picture taped to her screen fall away, and we're back in time to when that photo was taken. But since this shot spans several different board pages, we'll do like BFR 3, A, B, and C. Folder wise, no, it's just BFR 3. So this will be BFR 3A. And I have, you know, I've worked on a fair few animated feature films. I've made a fair few animated shorts. But professionally, like, I'm a matte painter, so, oh my goodness, I'm doing this very wrong. I guess I could save them all out as the correct file name and then open each one back up again and crop them. Is that more steps or less steps than what I'm doing now? Doing it now, it would be crop, save, undo, crop, save, undo. I think that might just be the same amount of steps. This is where it would be helpful to have some kind of a pipeline tool. Maybe. Or maybe I'm thinking about this wrong. Okay, let's try this. What if I do crop it? Okay. Now. Oh, okay, that removes everything. So I would need to change the canvas, perhaps? Canvas size. Is there any way to get that to match to this? Okay. Well, you know what? I'll go back and fix the others. I'll just do the crop thing. Here I was feeling good about it. Okay, so that's 3B. Undo. Move that around. So you know what I was saying earlier about how it's just a matter of finding the right way to do something and then doing that a million times over? Well, sometimes you start doing things a million times over and it is not the right way of doing things, which is always a fun discovery to make. 3B, here's 3C. Okay. And this, well, I guess there's, okay, so 3C and MOS1 will be the same thing. So, let's do that again. Because they kind of transition between each other, so there's no real great way to make that delineation because there's not going to be a hard cut. So I think that works. MOS1. So lately we've been watching through the live-action Scooby-Doo movies, which has gone about as well as you're probably imagining. I still really hate the first one. And I think that's kind of a problem I have with movies, is that I would rather a movie be consistently bad than to show promise and have obvious signs of course correction or meddling present in the final product. So this movie wasn't sure if it wanted to be an edgy skewering of Scooby-Doo or if it wanted to be an homage to Scooby-Doo, if it wanted to follow in its path, so to speak. And I think that's a little bit of a shame. That's why I liked the second one a lot, is because it wasn't like a great movie, but it knew exactly what it wanted to be. It wanted to be a loving homage to the franchise, and it was very successful at that, and it was fun, and it was charming. Movies like, I guess, another example I would think of is the Fantastic Four movie, where it's, studio interference, the film. You can tell just by watching it. And I think that's always just so frustrating, just to watch as an audience member. I'll take something bad, objectively bad but consistent, over something mixed and muddled any day. Which is fortunate, because most of what I make is objectively bad, so I'm on the right track. Okay, but lost my naming convention. You'll also notice I jumped from 1 to 3 here. Yeah. I did that on purpose, because I still think this is the same shot. So now we just have a phantom shot. Cool. That's fine. MOS2 doesn't exist. It's the one we don't talk about. This is still the same shot, so I did that wrong. This would be B, and this would be A. Cool. And even though it's frustrating, like, there is something valuable, I think, in having to do all of it yourself, because you really get to know exactly what's working and what's not working. And even if you're not able to fix, oh, I did it again. Gosh darn it. Even if you're not able to fix what's not working, it's better to be aware of it. Yeah, I'll have to go back through these and up. We just have to suffer through me doing this another 300 million times before we get to the editing. So that's 4A. Well, should have been. Before I go any further, I'm just gonna fix what I've done. the exciting life of working a full-time job and making stuff after work. Okay. So most of our family lives on the East Coast. So by the time I'm able to stream anything, they're all sleeping. But I guess the hope is if they ever miss me too much, doubtful, but possible, that, they can just put one of these on and kind of hang out while I dribble from the mouth. Someone's cheering outside. We have a bar very close to where we live, so there are people in good spirits frequently. Okay. Yeah, lately I've been just really kind of fixating on the idea that I don't really want my journey to end where I am right now. And I think for a lot of people getting into the VFX or animation industry, that is the goal. So I feel kind of a little guilty sometimes that that's not really what I want to do, but I did it, so yay. For me, it's a step, right? Like, I want to write and direct my own films. It used to be I wanted to write and direct my own animated films, but then I realized, animation is very expensive, and it takes a long time, and you need quite a big team for it. None of these are big enough issues to necessarily keep me from wanting to make animated films, but I realized as essentially a nobody in the film industry, it's difficult for me to imagine someone handing me that control right off the bat, you know? So I turned to I turned to my other love, which is the world of horror films. I love animation and I love horror. Horror seems a little bit of a smarter move for me simply because it's cheap. It's relatively cheap to make. It's a hot commodity right now. Studios are looking for low-risk, high-return investments. The lower the production budget is, the more likely they will recoup their investment on the film. And while it is easy to point to the dearth of sequels and spin-offs and prequels in horror films, it's also just as easy to point to the absolute abundance of original titles being released on multiple streaming services and, back when theaters were a thing, in theaters as well. So it's a very attractive possibility in terms of realistically setting my goals. It's also attractive in terms of I had a second statement there, but completely slipped my mind. Creatively, that's it. See, this is why on Hungry Creature Productions, there's a lot of quick edits, because I never know what I'm saying. I always have to chop it up for it to make any sense. Much like people. That's a joke. So I'm pretty heavily edited on that platform for your benefit. I mean, back to what I was talking about with horror. So I started writing last year. I wrote my first feature-length screenplay. It's a horror movie. It's called Thin Blue Veins. And it's a sort of it's grounded and gritty. It's disgusting, but it's got a dash of dark comedy with a twist of supernatural shenanigans, monster stuff thrown in for good measure. Because why not? Who doesn't love a good monster? Yeah, so I wrote that. I was very proud of it. Everything I've read, they say that your first screenplay is going to be terrible. It's going to be awful. And I really didn't feel like mine was. I actually thought and still think it's quite good. So I submitted it into a couple festivals. Some haven't evaluated it yet. Some have outright rejected it, not even qualified. And then others, like Screencraft's 2020 horror competition, it is currently a semi-finalist. I find out tomorrow if it will be a finalist, and I don't think it will be, and here's why. My first round of notes on it were positively glowing. In fact, the analysis that I received back from the reader said, like, essentially, you don't need to change anything. This is ready to film tomorrow. Like, you're on your way, kid. Like, wow, first screenplay ever. That's crazy. So I qualified for the quarterfinals. Awesome. Got my next round of feedbacks, and it was much more middling. I think it was like a 5.7 or something. So just barely at or above average, but nothing to celebrate about. So I didn't think I was gonna make it past the gate to the semifinals, but I did, which was very exciting. Got my feedback back from that round just last week, and it was better than before. It was like, I don't remember exactly, it's in like the 6.5-ish range, so above average, certainly, and a marked improvement from the last one, which is good, but I don't know if it's good enough to push me into the finals. I don't feel like it is, and I honestly don't want to get my hopes up just because I think that initial glowing review kind of made me feel a bit invincible when perhaps I shouldn't have been feeling that way. There's always room for improvement, and I already have a couple different thoughts in my head if I do make it through the finalists on how to improve the next draft. That being said, I feel like, from what I've been told, making it into the semi-finalist stage in this particular competition is something to be proud of. It's not an easy thing to do. So I'm pretty proud of that, and I think I'm gonna fix it up a bit and submit it to more competitions. My big problem, though, isn't this script in particular. I think in order to gain traction with an agent or a manager, which would be the next step, you need to have a library. So at least, minimum of 3 solid tested scripts written, ready to go. And I don't have that. So I'm working on a couple more screenplays at the moment. The one that's furthest along might be retitled. It's also not horror currently, but like, it easily could be. It's just like one rewrite away from being horror. I just have to finish the first draft of it. But it's science fiction, adventure. It's called Pick Their Corpses Clean. And it's definitely not as grisly as its title. I just like Giallo, and it sounded like a fun Giallo title. So what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Yeah, so my goal is to hopefully get enough interest with that to get an agent, to get a manager, someone who understands that my primary goal is not to write and sell screenplays. My primary goal is to write and sell screenplays, yes, but if I'm gonna sell it and I'm not gonna direct it, then that money that I'm making is essentially me fundraising for, shooting one of the things I've written eventually. because I really want to make films. I really don't want to just write them. And I realize that's ridiculous and that's shooting for the moon, but I don't know. It's been a fun journey so far. I didn't have a screenplay before, and now I do, and I think it's a darn good one. I wrote a movie that I would want to see in the theater, and I feel like as long as it's something that I would want to go see, then at the end of the day, I haven't lost anything by writing it. Yeah, so that's kind of my current trajectory, current career goal. So I guess this begs the question, why are you sinking so much time into Hungry Creature Productions, which is my other YouTube channel, and short films like this one, for example? Shouldn't you just be writing constantly? Which is probably fair, but I gotta say, what's the point in telling a story to nobody? I guess maybe some people would get some kind of like catharsis from just telling a story to themselves, and that's awesome. I don't think I'm one of those people. I think I like to have an audience. I like to have a relationship with the audience where it's almost like when you're telling a story and they're responding to it, whether it's laughter, fear, amazement, what have you, there's give and take where it's communication, it's two-way communication. And I think, I wouldn't presume to call what I do art. I don't think that's for me to say. I think I'm trying to make art, and I think that's all I can do. But if I'm not building an audience for myself, who will? I don't have an agent, I don't have a manager, I don't have anyone willing to go to bat for me. So if I'm not putting in the effort to get anything out, then what's the point in calling myself a director? What's the point in trying to be one, So it's difficult because what did I save that as? While my goal isn't split, my approach is, and I'm hoping that doesn't kind of end up biting me. I guess I try to mitigate that by working. Oh no, I did it again. How many times have I done that? Just once, okay. I try to mitigate my split approach to getting towards those dreams by just working twice as hard. And maybe that's not healthy, but I literally don't know what else to do. I'm not super great at networking. I'm not super great at schmoozing or putting pressure on. After that first round of wonderful feedback from the Screencraft competition, I actually had a friend who works for an executive producer be like, "Hey, let me read your script. I'll show it to him. It'll be great." So I sent this person the script, and I can take rejection, but they just kind of ghosted me. I was like, sad about it. Yeah, it's not a good feeling. I'm okay being told that it's not what they're looking for or it didn't meet their standards. In fact, that's valuable because it helps me change my presentation or consider making something tailored to what they are looking for. But yeah, it's tough because I feel like I can handle being turned down. I just don't know what to do about being ghosted. NGT, that's what it is. Sorry. It's hard to talk and do things at the same time. It's easy when I'm painting, because that's more NGT. That's more responsive It's not the part of my brain that needs to. Dana's in the closet. The cat is in the closet. So I think the way my brain works is if I need to read or write, I generally need it to be like quiet or I can't be talking. But if I'm painting or designing or doing something visual, then I can be listening to music, I could be listening to a podcast, could be having a conversation with someone. Completely on the table. I don't know, maybe that's like a left brain, right brain type thing. Although I read that was a myth, that our brains really aren't segmented like that. It's just something we tell ourselves to, Dana, further classify us. We like classifying things. We like putting neat little things in neat little boxes, he says as he cuts his storyboard into tiny little bite-sized pieces. Yes, Dana. Should you be in the closet? That's a no. She should not be. So the reason she's making that noise is because she wants me to go over there, stand next to where she is in the closet so she can hop onto my back. Then she wants me to stand up so she can reach some of the higher and more precarious places in the closet. Now you may be asking yourself, this poor cat, does she not have 1, 2, 3, 4 possible cat trees and a ton of other high furniture that she frequents? She does. She just wants to be up in the closet. It's not because she's scared of anything. It's not because of a territorial thing. It's just she's half Bengal and she's kind of crazy and she likes to climb. If there is anything that can be climbed, she will climb it. It's kind of her thing. So, a good question to ask is, hey Josh, why are you streaming on your personal YouTube channel and not on Hungry Creature Productions? And I think that's a fantastic question. Well done you for asking. My goodness, you're insightful. Okay, the reason is that this isn't really on brand for that channel. I think I might download these live streams and cut some of the better moments, speed them up, blah, 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 and make some featurettes, perhaps, for this. So this is valuable in that it's generating a lot of footage I can potentially use in the future. However, that's not the only reason. The other reason is because I don't... Did I say this already? I don't remember. I just don't think it fits with the channel. We try to put like finished videos, more polished stuff on Hungry Creature Productions. And most of what I've posted to my personal channel in the past has been helping out students when I was teaching with various technical issues they were having with the software we were using, as well as troubleshooting some of their projects. So to me, it makes more sense to put it on the technical channel where someone may get some kind of use from it. That being said, no one really watches these while I do them. I think I'm alone now. I'm pretty sure I'm alone now. Yeah. So it's not really about that. Mostly, it's about the fact that I have a wandering mind that will check social media, check the news to see what fresh horrors have been wrought upon the world. I'll go in circles on the internet and waste tons of time. And I realized that I didn't do that when people were watching me work. Now, oh no, I did it again. Now, no one's really watching me right now, or at least no one's watching me live. So, why is it having the same effect? Why am I behaving as though someone was? I think it's all down to possibilities. Like, I know no one's gonna hop in, but what if they did? Then someone would be watching. I guess when I was a kid, I always had this paranoia that I was in a very religious home, and there was always this concept of like, no matter what you're doing, God is watching you and judging you. And by and large, I think that's a very crippling way to be a child. Spent a lot of my childhood being just terrified that I was going to hell. But you know, right now, I'm fine. But I think a lesser degree of that is constructive, in that, you know, you're accountable in the moment, and I think this is essentially my weak sauce way of being accountable in the moment. Hi, Katie. What's up? You want to see? So this is what's going on here. And I use this software to where I can like reposition, you know,
that's cool.
all the different stuff. See what's going on there. But yeah. All right. Give me a second. Hello. Oh wow, I can make this bigger and smaller. That's fun. Sorry, just messing around with this software. Yeah. So I don't really know how streaming works or what people expect from it. I don't watch any live streams, and as this is my second ever, you can tell I don't really do it often either. I'm not really sure what people want me to talk about. I often listen to music while I work, but I was afraid to do that because all my experience with YouTube has taught me that essentially any rights, any small rights I have will be immediately stripped away if YouTube detects even the faintest whiff of video or audio. That is... yeah. So yeah. You just get my babbling. Yes, Dana. Do you need to get down? Okay, I got you. Come here. Come here. There you go. There you go. Okie dokie dokie. This is my life. She's very cute, but she also thinks that I'm her pet. I mean, she's right. You want to get down here? Yeah, you can get down there. Oh. That's my Dana. She's a sweetheart. I really love that cat. That's a great cat. Quality cat, 10 out of 10. Exceeds expectations. The other cat, I think he was extremely loving last time I tried to stream. He just wouldn't leave me alone. And that's our cat, Winston. He's a sweetie pie. I love him too. Did I forget to crop it again? I betcha I did. Well, this has to be quite thrilling for you, the viewer. Oh no, I think Winston's in the closet. Did I close you in, Bubba? Hi, come on out. It's okay. I'm sorry. It's okay, Bubba.
Oh, he's been in there.
Well, I just closed it because Dana was causing all kinds of problems. What a goofball. So I guess the question is, why am I making short films? They take forever. They're not like a great indicator as to whether you can make a feature or not. They are like a mild indicator as to whether you can evoke a tone, whether you can handle like maybe a single scene or something. But the reason I don't think they're a great indicator as to whether or not you'd be able to direct a feature is because by and large, I do this myself. This is, it's all me. I'm not really working with anyone. Whereas on a film, you'd have a crew, so you're able to do things like really fine-tune performances, really work on what your vision for the piece is going to be, as opposed to worrying about every minor glittering technicality that you must when you're the only person working on something. What I was gonna be working on before Monster Dad was a short, and I'll put that in quotes, a short film called Pedal. Now, Pedal was to short films what a novella is to a novel. So, it was quite a bit longer than anything else I tackled. It was also much more involved, and the art direction was much more stylized and three-dimensional, I suppose. And I think whenever I make a short film, there's always this part of me that is like, well, it doesn't have to be this way. You could just ask for help. Just ask people for help and they'll help you. Like, you gotta find a crew. So I did that. Didn't work. Did not work. So that myth has been laid to rest. I do have to do it all myself. I don't want to, but I think until I reach the point where I can pay people, what their time is worth, both as that is the right thing to do and to motivate them to give me their best and to actually listen to what I need. Until I'm able to do that, I just shouldn't bother. It's kind of a waste of time for everyone involved. So that's why I'm doing something short. I'm doing something 2D because I know I can handle that. And just kind of scaled back a bit. Pedal also, I'm retooling to be a feature anyway. It was too long, and I've got places I can pitch animated features much easier than I can pitch horror movies, seeing as how I've worked for animation studios that do in-house IP development. So that's a likely avenue for probably not something they'd let me direct, but at least something that'll help me make some money that I can turn around and, maybe turn one of my scripts into a micro-budget film. So that doesn't actually answer why I'm making this. That answers why I shouldn't be making this. I'm making this because I have to. Because if I am not trying to continue to better myself as a filmmaker on any level, I think I'll just kind of spiral into hopelessness. I'll feel like I've given up on myself or I've failed in some way. And while that may not be true, I just, I have a need to create, that just writing. And particularly that just, matte painting or working on someone else's movies for a living does not scratch that itch. I've got to be creating for me. And why I have the YouTube channel at all is because I want to try and find an audience for what I create. And boy, is that difficult. It's very difficult. I think YouTube kind of blindsided us right away, not right away, maybe a year after we started our channel, by changing the way that their monetization works. So we've never been monetized. We've never fit the new parameters, or not new anymore, but new for the time. So that was a blow, but not enough to keep me from, trying to make the channel the best it can possibly be on my limited time and resources. It was just hard to know that I would essentially be sinking a lot of time into something that would hopefully pay for itself by finding me the eventual audience for my films, even if it wouldn't pay for itself, even if it wouldn't pay for my time. It would hopefully reward me in some way eventually. But they've changed their algorithm so many times since then that they barely recommend our videos to anyone anymore. It's been very difficult just watching our subscriber growth throughout the years, and how sometimes they'll tweak the algorithm and we'll be off to the races. It's like 20 subscribers a day, do. Then like a month later, all of a sudden, like dead, 0, barely any views per video, like between 5 and 10 average, which it's like, wait, I was getting hundreds of views. What happened? I haven't changed the way I'm approaching it. And then, they'll change something else again and they'll spike back up. And it's so irregular and so frustrating that I've kind of disassociated from it a little bit, in that I try not to care at all what they're going to do to me. And I just kind of have to believe that all the time I've put into this channel, not this channel, but Hungry Creature Productions I'm talking about. This is my personal channel. That all that time will be worth it in the end. I just have to keep pressing on from there. I think that's the only really healthy way to approach it. And it's worked. Some channels, they'll just skyrocket. Like, they'll make a video and people will instantly love it. And then boom, maybe a couple months later, they've got hundreds of thousands of subscribers. We've been doing this since 2014, 2015. Yeah, and we're maybe 620 subscribers. Yeah. And to me, the difficulty isn't like that we're not monetized. It's that the whole point was trying to find an audience, for these short films, and hopefully eventually longer format films. But what can you do? I don't have any audio. I don't have any music to put in this. I'm just gonna cut the storyboards together. And a lot of it has to do with my imagination filling in the gaps, like already kind of knowing how I want this to play out in my head. So you won't be able to see it. Actually, I'll throw my right screen on here too. Let me see if I can do that in real time. guess maybe if I drag these around, they'll be... Okay. So I can put this over here. I want this screen below this screen. Okay. Okay. That should be good enough. Just put myself in this corner. There we are. See my beautiful face. The room looks super yellow. Probably is. Hard to tell. Okay. I want to grab a piece of footage that has the frame rate and aspect ratio that I'm looking for. I guess I could just create a timeline that has that. I just don't like doing that because I never really know what they're talking about. I'm not technical. Sequence, new sequence, that's it, not timeline. Because I want, like, I wish I could just punch this in. I guess I could. Yeah, 1920 by 1080. 24 frames per second. That seems right. Fields, no fields. Sample rate, I don't know. Oh, that's not what I asked for. Well, I guess... No. Modify... Sequence settings. Oh, well, it's flipped. Because I think that's my TikTok preset. Hey, that looks more like it. Okay. So now we want to make a bunch of bins. I'm just going to move this. How many sequences do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, they're nesting. I don't want them nested. 1. Now I've done it. Let me just move this guy out of the way. Yeah, you go over there. Rename. 1, 2. So I keep having to look around my microphone here. Yeah, that's all of them. Okay. Cool. Just getting everything loaded up into Premiere. I've honestly really only edited on Premiere. I know it's kind of, from what I understand, it's kind of entry level when it comes to editing, but I also know that I am not a professional editor. I do not claim to be. And to me, as someone who has never really gotten into Apple products and has no real interest in Apple products, and I can get into that in a second, but it doesn't seem a prudent it doesn't seem a prudent use of my time right now to learn something just because it's the industry standard way of doing something that I'm not planning to do professionally. In terms of Apple, I think it's a lot of flash and no payoff. You can make a compelling argument both for and against Apple on a hardware level, and I've seen it done. But essentially, it's impossible to deny that you can get great hardware for a fraction of the cost as a non-Apple product than you could get it as an Apple product. And for me, that's always been enough for me to stay away from Apple. Like, then again, I'm also the kind of person who thinks fancy cars are just stupid. If you can afford that, like, you're clearly putting your money in the wrong place. You could do a lot of good in the world. You don't need that stupid looking car. And I get it. It's a hobby for some people. I just don't, I get that it's a hobby for some people. I can't relate to it on any level, and I don't understand it. I understand that I don't understand it. There we go. Let's go back to those pages just so we can get straight what exactly is supposed to happen. Okay. Like, honestly, if I, ever became financially stable, i.e. paid off my exorbitant student loans and was able to save some money for the future, like, why would you get a car like that? If you have such an excess of money, then you should be giving it away. You should be giving it to people who need it. Like, it doesn't matter where you live. There are people near you who are starving. There's a lot of good you could do with your wealth, but the fact that you choose to spend it on yourself, I think, shows a lot about who you are as a person, and I think it's a bad look. I think it's reprehensible. But hey, that's just me. Sorry, it's late and I'm cranky. Okay, so we start off just kind of pushing into this. I'm just going to kind of close my eyes and see it in my head. So that's about how long I see that being. So about 3, 4, take that to 3 seconds. Okay. And I don't think I want to move the camera on this. I'm just having it static. That's good. Maybe these shots should be the same. We'll make them each 4 seconds, so it's like it's got a rhythmic quality to it. Like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. this feels. So if we start here, so we want to kind of like, we want to go in and do rotate, but I don't want it to be too much. Like I don't want it to feel like we're suddenly taking off at 1,000 miles an hour. But at the same time, that might just be what happens. I hope not. I can just make the shot longer if that's how it feels. We'll see how this plays out. Yeah, it's too fast. It's too fast. Let's give it 8 more seconds. And yeah, I like the idea that for 4 of those, we're not moving. Okay, yeah, I think that feels better. I think that does feel better. Okay. And this is just essentially the same thing. But it is getting rather late, at least late for me. And I should probably, well, I'll finish this transition. And then I gotta get ready to do a little workout and go to bed. All fun and games. So this is 972 by 509. 2 by 509. Let's see how this plays in real time, because it's kind of like we're supposed to be peeking through the photograph into the memory. Okay, so we're peeking into the world right between this when this changes, so clomp, clomp, clomp. Oh, and I see part of the difficulty here is that it's, yeah, there you go. Cut. Yeah, so we'll extend this, make it a lot bigger. Oh no, he's still walking. Okay, in the next shot. Okay, yeah, because we've bonk bonk. Okay, cool. Okay, I think that's a good place to stop tonight. Yeah, thanks for watching.